This is Jesse Dillon, your coast-to-coast and worldwide tune to The Good Life today. Mark Victor Hansen, 157 million copies sold, one of the most prolific storytellers of all time. When Peter Guber approached you about being in his new book, Tell to Win, which is absolutely brilliant, what were your thoughts about storytelling?
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. Well, Peter has become a great friend, but the first time I was here, I was at his great conference table, and he brought all the best storytellers in the world together.
Right.
You think I forgot that?
Yeah,
and
I did.
Peter was actually, I met him outside, never met him before, and he told me that you were intimidated by this august group that you brought together, and yet he is the greatest producer living in the world today, probably.
No. I'm still struggling to get online, to make it all work. But Mark, when Mark, what I liked about Mark and this giant conclave, holy storytellers there. You know what I really liked about him? He was the one guy that had less hair than me. So I really enjoyed that.
I can show him where to
And
buy.
I knew to torture him. I knew just what it would do to loosen him up.
There's 4 hairs, in, thin, fuzz, and was. Okay. Was.
Okay.
But you can buy hair. I can show you how, but we'll do that later.
I know a guy that bought pig hair, did a pig transplant.
Really?
Yeah. He was a mess.
Was
Every
a pig
time
like
he used to lap up everybody's plate at the table when they were finished. He was terrible.
Peter, how many years have you been telling stories?
I've been storyteller for about 38 years, but I've only been telling purposeful stories for about 2.
Right. You could have had anybody on the planet in your book, but you chose these distinguished gentlemen. For what reason? Mark Victor Hansen, Tony Robbins, Magic Johnson, they're all in your book. Steven Spielberg. Why these guys?
Well, I wanted to look and decode the process of when I failed and when I succeeded, when I heard something that moved me, when I didn't hear something that didn't move me, and I didn't act. So I really used my own life and decoded the process, the people I had met, like Mark at that event, like Muhammad Ali many years earlier, like Fidel Castro, like George Clooney, like big star director Spielberg. I used my own life because I failed so many times and I had so many successes. I thought, what's the difference? Why did you succeed and why did you fail? Could there be a reason? And I had so much joy in my life and I had so much pain in my life. So what was the difference? So I kept looking at that, and I realized when I went back and decoded my experiences with Mark, decoded my experiences with these other folks who were primicists, if you will, in their life. They were at the top of their game. I saw at the center it was a secret sauce. They were able, knowingly or unknowingly, to tell purposeful stories to move other people to action. And that's when I realized, wow, I have discovered something there, but I didn't discover it. I uncovered it. It's in everybody. So I found myself curious as to what were the seminal tools that allowed somebody to employ this technology.
Tell them the letters we have you write on all 5 fingers, just real quick. Take them through.
Mark is clever. Mark says you got to be able to make it really simple. At 60 miles an hour on a rainy night, you got to be able to tell them what to do. Well, I drove my car at 60 miles an hour on a rainy night. I had the windows open and I got wet. But getting wet, I figured out that's true. There was a magic. And so I used the word magic as an acronym, if you will, to look at the components of what that magic was. And that's how I did it. I looked at magic, motivate your audience to your goal interactively with great content. And I designed my own self, not the information, but the exploration and the generosity of all these folks to really answer that question inside what made that magic work.
But you talk about failing and getting back up quickly. You talk about Muhammad Ali. You made the movie. Mark, you know a thing or two about failing. I thought...
Did you fail?
Boy.
I thought it was 33 times that you were turned down for Chicken Soup for the Soul.
144.
144 no's.
That was giving,
like us.
I'd get
By the way,
tired.
you should have seen what our spouses at the time were saying. Come on, get to work, you guys.
But so here's the interesting thing. How do you know when to keep going? What did Einstein say? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same results is the definition of insanity. 144 times. I don't know by my standards or your standards. Dude, that's got to be insane.
He is insane. He's completely insane.
Wait a second. Why did you keep doing it? You keep making movies.
I learned from your insanity. No, actually, the reality is this. You only need, as he said, as he learned in a story he told me, you only need one yes.
Right.
One yes. If you needed 144 yeses, we would be outside there selling apples on the corner.
And that one yes led to 157 million copies of the franchise Chicken Soup for the
Now,
Soul.
what was the biggest no you got and the biggest yes you got, Peter?
The biggest no I got, really, the biggest no I got was when I went into Steve Ross's office. It was the chairman of Time Warner. We had a particularly great year that year, and I had a large movie company. We had made Rain Man, Batman, Gorillas in the Mist, and Tango and Cash in about 14 months. So you're at a place when you walked into a studio or company and you said, I'd like to do a story about the corner of this chair. The head was going, yes, because they thought you had the secret sauce. Of course you didn't, you know, but the idea was, I looked around the room, he said to me, what would you like to do? I said, wouldn't mind having one of these. Like to be, he was the chairman, and he laughed at me. He was telling me, no possible. And that was one of the biggest no's I've ever had.
What was the biggest yes?
The biggest yes was turning that no into a yes. When I met Marita just a few weeks later,
They all don't know who Marita is. I do.
Marita was the founder, the creative genius behind Sony. You know, he brought the man, the Walkman, and all the other technology in that design company to the forefront of American technology, global technology. Was
starting with a little tape recorder.
Number one global brand, and you know, he helped me turn that no into a yes. But the reality is, people start often with a willingness to be open, but you often create the no because you don't K-N-O-W what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, you can turn those no's into ons, or more of them.
Wait, there's something else, Jess. Let me do this. So you come into Sony, they're ready to close down your little act, and you're flipping through some pictures, and you see a picture of our friend Peter O'Toole. Hit it.
Well, what really happened then, that's a good question. You know, I was really skunked because when you go into a company like that, I was the poster boy for bad American behavior. We were selling out America. You know, they had bought Columbia Pictures, not me, and there was that woman, you know, clothed in an American flag at the front of the movie, and suddenly the Rockefeller Center was being sold, and everything's being sold to the Japanese. So I became the poster boy for that bad behavior. And, you know, it was a challenge. And I looked at a company that was in New York, it was in Burbank, it was in Hollywood, it was in all over the country, in fact, all over the world, owned by a Japanese company. How do you unite or believe and create the conviction in your employees that you could unite this disparate tribe, that you could find a way to let them think as one, that they could see a new, if you will, tribal order that they were in charge of and part of and in the journey with. And just really because of my love for a particular picture, which happened to be a Columbia picture, Lawrence of Arabia, and what Lawrence did in that story, united disparate tribes by taking them a journey that they thought was impossible, doing something that was impossible so that they would see their life and their career and their business and their country as a matter of probable, not impossible. And I told that story, and our mantra was Aqaba.
Take Aqaba.
Mm-hmm. And so that was a story nobody thought that was possible. So you use story all the time as a metaphor in your life, knowingly or unknowingly. It is a Trojan horse for your information and for your call to action.
So what he did is he said, take Aqaba. He put it everywhere. He painted Sony and everything. So before the Japanese got here, they didn't understand that he had given them a brand new mindset, a brand new story set, a brand new future set. Am I overstating it?
No, and you know something, a lot of the Japanese companies and foreign companies that bought big studios are gone now, and including Matsushita, which owned Universal, but a whole bunch of them. And Sony's still there, thriving way long ago, you know, without me, maybe in spite of me. But whatever it is, they're still here. They still have an important part of the marketplace, and they're a significant force in entertainment, electronics, music, and entertainment. And, you know, I started there. So the idea is, I'm not responsible for that, but the idea that somebody could change the mindset and say that companies can work cross-culturally, companies can find a paradigm to work together, companies can find a story that unites them.
Is Tell to Win you announcing to the rest of us that you are now officially in the third stage of your life?
I'm announcing that I enjoy winning, and I enjoy telling. And sometimes telling doesn't make winning. Sometimes you don't win, because there's no guarantee in it. There is no guarantee. You're born, you die. That's a guarantee. Everything in between is a gamble, is a shot. How do you narrow the odds? How do you go from more success to less pain, or from more joy, more joy to less pain? How do you get more success than less failure, more joy than less pain? That's really the game. And the truth is, success and failure are millimeters apart. They're very close to one another. I mean, you know how many times you've done something and you were right at the cusp of failure and became a success. And then you know how many times you failed and the inside of it was a great idea. They're closer together. So what could be a game changer? What could take 4, 7, 10, 12 strokes off your game? Not guarantee you'll be Tiger Woods, not guarantee you'll be Jack Welch, not guarantee you'll be John Grisham or Robert Frost, but give you more joy and more success. And the reality is, when you can narrate your offering, be in the same room, breathe the same air, face to face, press the flesh, look in the eye, you have a much better chance of telling your story to win, to get them to adhere, go for your call to action.
Mark, you sold 157 million books. Let me ask you this quick question. Who should read Tell to Win by Peter Guber, and what do you think they'll take from that book?
Everybody watching needs to make their story as good as it is, as like Peter was just saying, a better story. Make their unjoyful, painful story a joyful story. Make their unhappiness happiness. Make their lackluster relationship sparkle and be exuberantly good. I've been with this guy literally around the world, traveling as his friend and colleague, and I got to say that he lives a life flat out. We start in the morning, we did yoga first, then we played soccer with the kids, then we played water polo, then we did an event, then we met everyone, then we had a party at night, and then we exercised again. The first time I came in at 9:30 at night, he says, suit up. I said, you want me to put on a suit? We're in Hawaii. What the hell are we doing? He said, we're going to exercise for the next hour and a half.
And then he sold 35 books in between those activities.
Yeah. Well, we have something to learn from him. Peter, kudos.
My pleasure.
Congratulations.
My-
Mark, what a pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Mark Victor Hansen, Peter Guber. The book is Tell to Win. You'd better buy it for everybody you care about.